Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Today I have the pleasure of sitting down with Anna Healy, our urban forester and naturalist. Did I say that correctly?
You did.
All right,
Excellent.
perfect. How are you today, Anna?
I'm great. Thank you for having me on the show.
Absolutely. And today we're talking about we had some tree planting events, and they were scheduled for Saturday, and actually now it's being changed. So we're going to talk about
Yeah,
those changes and what's happening at these tree plantings and where they're at. So why don't you give us started, Anna?
perfect. Well, thank you. So it's supposed to thunderstorm on Saturday, and lightning is a deal breaker for us to hold an activity. So we are going to move the tree plantings up to Friday. We will be at Chicory Meadows at 2 o'clock on Friday. Um, and we'll be doing a lot of shrub planting there as well as some trees. This is a really interesting project. It's a we had a volunteer work over the winter to take out all the invasive brush that was in one of the fence lines in Chicory Meadows. He removed it all, which is great. And then our city crews went in, ground the stumps, picked up all the brush, really got things prepped up very nicely. So this spring we can go in there and get native shrubs installed to kind of take up that growing space. And I just was out there earlier today getting the native shrubs in place and also some trees. And I noticed there are some Solomon seals and trout lily and things like that coming up. So it's interesting. You get rid of that invasive shrub, that invasive layer, and the natives just, they can't wait to come back, which was very, very encouraging. So that will be a very interesting event. I can't wait to see what it looks like with the natives in there. And that's tomorrow at 2 to 3. And we're going to be planting a bur oak as a nod to our native oaks, some serviceberry. We'll be putting in some hazelnuts, also some viburnums, and a witch hazel. So I'm really couldn't be more excited to be able to really sort of transform part of Chicory Meadows from basically an invasive jungle into a really nice native shrub habitat with some native trees that will really be great habitat for birds. It'll be good for, not just birds, but wildlife in general. It'll be much more aesthetically pleasing. And also it won't bleed into people's yards. Now we have these parks that have all these invasive shrubs. And if you live next to a park, you're going to have those invasive shrubs in your yard as well. So we're really working hard to try and get some of the native shrubs on the city property under control so we can be better neighbors, basically. And this is an example of that project. And thank you to our dedicated volunteers who make all of this possible. I really, really appreciate all your efforts.
Absolutely. Volunteers are good for everything. And without volunteers, we'd be so far behind in anything and everything here, especially here in the city as well. So thank you,
Yes.
volunteers. And that sounds like a good project. And like you said, the natives, they just want to come back. All those native plants want to come back and get those invasive ones out of here.
Yes.
And so now we're also have another tree planting at Corey Hill as well.
Yes, yes, thank you. Yes, so at Corey Hill, we have the neighborhood association has been very active in tree planting. We got a donation from the American Transmission Company to do tree plantings in a park, and we're going to do this in Corey Hill. So thank you to ATC for that donation. And the neighbors have gotten together and very proactively, because there's an awful lot of development going on in that part of Fitchburg, and they've been, their views are changing, from being views of ag fields and views of tree lines to basically views of other houses. So they're very conscious of that, and they'd really like to try and maintain a more natural landscape if they can. So we'll be putting more native trees into that park, as well as some more shrubs. The shrubs serve as sort of a not just for aesthetics, because the shrubs are more person sized, so they're going to be more person sized screening. They also provide great wildlife habitat, as well as all the other ecological benefits, from stormwater to carbon fixation, that sort of thing, as trees do. So we're putting some shrubs in for that purpose. And then we're also planting some trees there that we don't have very many of in the city. We're going to be planting a London plane tree, which is a large canopy tree that is going to replace one of our ash trees. Unfortunately, Corey Hill Park had, I forget, 20%, 25%. It had a heavy ash component. All those trees have been removed, and we've been slowly replacing them. These will be the last ash replacements that we need to plant. One of them, again, is this London plane tree, which very large canopy tree, very interesting bark. will provide shade and other ecosystem benefits to the people who frequent the park. We're also
Mhm.
planting a horse chestnut, which is, we don't have a whole lot of those in our parks. I can only think of one or two. So that's going to be a new addition for us. Very excited to plant that. I hope it does well. I think it should. It should. I think it's a good location for it. So it'll be interesting. And that tree, of course, adds a lot of interest, wildlife interest. Also, it has interesting. It has an interesting canopy, interesting fall color, that sort of thing. And it'll be a nice addition to the park. And not only will it provide those aesthetics we've talked about in terms of kind of establishing more of a native tree view rather than a view of buildings. It also offers the wildlife habitat and other things that we've been discussing. So very exciting. Very exciting. That will be tomorrow at 4 to 5. I'm very grateful that the neighborhood association and the volunteers were very gracious in working with me earlier this week. I was keeping an eye on the forecast, and it didn't really change much from Monday. And I said, ladies, if this doesn't change, how possible is it to move this to Friday? If we get this plant material in the ground on Friday, Friday looks like a great tree planting, not too hot, not too cold, not real sunny, should be perfect. And then if these plants rained in all weekend, they will have a great. So if we can move it to Friday, wow, would that be awesome? And and these people are very flexible and very gracious with their time, and they changed their schedules around and said, sure, bring it on. Let's plant trees on Friday. So that's what we're going to do.
Oh, that sounds great. And as far as people coming out to help and be there, what should they bring? Anything? Should they have glove? What kind of
Good question.
equipment
Yeah,
should they have?
good question. So yes, gloves are a really good idea. Particularly if you're going to be planting shrubs. They're real prickly, but one of the things that we do is we do have to, these are all container trees. So they're not particularly big, but they've been in a container this spring, which means we need to spread the roots out. And it's easier to do that if you've got gloves on.
Mhm.
So gloves are a real great idea. The other thing that's really nice is to have some hand tools. Again, a trowel or something like that to really spread those roots out would be great. We will have shovels and we will have rakes and wheelbarrows, but water is also really nice. It's a fairly physical thing to plant trees and shrubs. So we will be, we'll be out there for at least an hour, getting these things in the ground, and the holes will be dug. But we'll be spreading mulch. We'll be, getting trees out of containers, getting them into the holes. We need to match up the, tree with the holes. So that always takes a little bit of work in terms of got to fill the hole back in a little bit or take some more out or whatever. So, so I guess bring some elbow grease. That always comes in handy when you're planting trees, as well as gloves, water, and any kind of hand tools that you like to use, particular to you. So, and the other thing I would say, if folks want to bring their own tools, shovels and such, because that they're more comfortable, that's great. There's no issue with that. So,
Perfect.
yeah.
Well, it's good to know. Good to know what people need to bring. Gloves are bring those. If nothing else, at least have gloves on, because you're dealing with plants and dirt and
Right.
things
You
that
just
could
never
be
know.
pokey, and you don't want to. You just want to be careful with your hands.
Yeah.
One more thing quickly, as we're talking about kind of a big milestone here in the city with being
Yes.
a tree city. So why don't you explain what that is and what
Yes.
milestone we're hitting?
Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you for bringing this up. This year is our 25th, kind of a big deal, 25th year being a Tree City USA. This is a program that we participate in. It's the National Arbor Day Foundation is the organizing entity for Tree City. And basically what it is, it isn't something you just say like, hey, we want to be a Tree City because we're fun. That's not how it works. You have to apply every year to be a Tree City. And the base requirements are that you have a proclamation, an Arbor Day proclamation. And Arbor Day is the last Friday in April. So Arbor Day is tomorrow. So we will be doing all these tree plantings on Arbor Day, which is really, I think, kind of cool. So anyways, you have to have an Arbor Day proclamation made by the mayor or whomever, right? So in this last Tuesday, our mayor did an Arbor Day proclamation, which was great. You also have to spend at least $2 per capita on trees. So, and we do that. We have right now our population is 26,000 or so, 27 or whatever it is. I might be a little bit behind after the last census. And we do spend more than $2 per person on trees, which is great. The other thing that you have to do is you have to do an Arbor Day celebration, which we are doing tomorrow.
Mhm.
So every year, for the last 25 years, we've met those three criteria. We've had a proclamation, we've spent at least $2 per capita on trees or tree related activities, and we have done an Arbor Day activity. So, had an event. So I would really encourage people to go out to our parks. If you can't come out tomorrow, which I totally understand, go out to our parks. There's all kinds of trees that have been planted by volunteers for Arbor Day all over our parks, in McKee Farms Park in particular, in McGaw. If you walk around and you see trees that have been planted in the last 25 years, it probably was having something to do with Arbor Day. So I really commend the city for being able to maintain that status, and I hope we have at least in the 25 years to come.
That sounds awesome, and congratulations to the city and you, Anna. I've been, I'm sure, a big part of keeping that going.
I try.
I mean, that's a big thing, and it's
It
yeah,
is.
we previewed the proclamation on Wednesday that took place Tuesday here on Talking Fitchburg, and again, everyone come out tomorrow. It is now tomorrow, Friday, April 29th.
Yes.
You have Chicory Meadow from 2 to 3 and Corey Hill Park from 4 to 5. So come on out
Yes.
and help celebrate Arbor Day since it is tomorrow. So that's pretty
Yeah.
awesome.
It is pretty awesome. And I so appreciate everyone's patience with the time and date change. I know people won't be able to make it as much, but don't worry. There's lots of opportunity. We're going to be, there'll be a lot of opportunity to plant trees. We have we have other events coming up that we can announce that we still need to reschedule. So at any rate, I guess I would like to just thank you for having me on the show, and
Mhm.
I really appreciate all the time and attention towards trees and Arbor Day. And if anyone has any questions or is interested in having an Arbor Day activity in their backyard, just give me a call, send me an email, and we'll see what we can do.
Perfect. That sounds awesome. Anna, thank you for being on today and good luck with all the planting tomorrow.
Thank you. I so appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back right after this break. You're watching Talking
All right.
Fitchburg.
All right. Thank you.